What's going on, family? Listen, this video right here, hopefully it won't be an extremely long video, but it is a lot to cover in this video. I'm hoping this video helps some of you guys understand why you're being attacked in specific areas of your life, why it seems like you're constantly under attack in specific areas of your life. And this is something that I actually had to experience to even be able to present this information to you guys. So I hope this resonates with some of you guys. And if you are new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell so y'all get all of the upcoming videos. And just salute to the entire family for continuing to rock with the information and just continuing to share this journey with me. So like I said, I don't want this video to be extremely long, so I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it. But basically, this video is going back to generational curses. So one of the things that I learned over my life is that you will constantly be under attack in those areas of your life that you have generational curses, like in your bloodline. So what I mean by that is, like, one of the things is like, okay, like prime example, like in my family, it was a lot of things that happened in the history of my family, like way even before I was even thought of, that caused a lot of anger that was passed down through generations in my family. And if you don't do your history and if you don't do your homework on what happened in your family, you will never know a lot of the things. And even in my situation, it's a lot of things that I don't know that happened. That was passed down through generation, like from generation to generation, like just through my bloodline. But I know for certain that anger was one of the things that was passed down through my bloodline. So one of the things that I realized is that because that was something that was already in my bloodline as a generational curse, I was always going to be attacked in those areas. So I was always, my anger was always going to be tested. You see what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, from elementary school, I could just remember instances where, like, I could be chilling, not bothering nobody. Like, I'm a real laid back dude for the most part. I'm like, usually in my own zone. Like most of us chosen ones are usually kind of introverted, like stay to ourselves, because we do a lot of work on ourselves, and we do a lot of self-analyzing, if that makes sense. But one of the things that I noticed is I didn't have to be bothering anybody. I could like be trying to live as peaceful as possible, but there would always be something that would always come in my life to provoke me in some type of way. And like I said, I didn't have to necessarily bring it on myself, but it would be something that would just come out of nowhere. Like somebody would, you know, like I could just be walking down the street or something and somebody would just bump me out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay, what was that for? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or like even, you know, dealing with like narcissistic situations, I feel like these people come into your life and they know certain things about you, and they know, okay, this person is quick to anger, or this person is quick to be explosive. And like one of the things that I noticed is, like, my father was a very chill dude. He was a very like comical, funny guy. But one of the things he would always say is like he's quick, like he's real quick tempered. You know what I'm saying? He was, you know what I'm saying? He was extremely quick tempered. And that's something that I kind of like picked up on. Like I was a very peaceful person, and I was very, but as soon as you disrespected me, or as soon as you know, put your hands on me, or as soon as you like put your hands on one of my family members or something like that, I would just explode, you know what I'm saying? And it was very quick, and it was very quick tempered. And I used to scare myself sometimes because I used to, you know, kind of think that my anger would get the best of me. Like I'm talking about when I was a young child, like from the time I was like 5, 6 years old, I used to always kind of be afraid of my own anger and temper and things like that, because I knew my father had an explosive temper. I saw my mother have certain things that, happened in her situation where, anger was just passed, through the family. It was just, in our bloodline. It was, one of those things that, so I saw her react in anger sometimes. And I saw, a lot of my family members that was just around me react in anger to a lot of circumstances that happen in life. So it was something that, regardless of what I did, no matter how peaceful that I tried to live my life, I was always going to be attacked in that area, because it was something that I had to break. Like, I have to, your parents didn't break it, and, it may not be their fault that they didn't break it. Maybe they didn't, didn't have the tools, or maybe they weren't spiritually awakened at that time, or whatever the case may be, to realize what was going on. But I just was, like I said, because I experienced a lot of the things that I went through from a young age, I was extremely self-aware as a young child. Like, I knew that if I continued down the path of anger, that it was going to lead me to somewhere that I really didn't want to be. And that was one of the things that I was always extremely fearful of. So because of that, it made me kind of go in the opposite direction, where I would walk away from a lot of stuff, because I knew how explosive like, I was more afraid of myself and what the outcome of something that I would do would be if, somebody, if somebody just got me wrong or got me out of the way, out of pocket or whatever. I knew what I was capable of. And I was always like a extremely big kid for my age. I was, real muscular and all of that kind of stuff as a young kid. So I was a lot bigger than a lot of the kids in my age group and all of that kind of stuff. And then even as I continued to grow throughout life, I was still a lot bigger than a lot of the kids that I went to school with and things like that. So I knew that if I continue to allow myself to be provoked into anger, number one, I could always be controlled through that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could literally always be controlled through, like, all somebody would have to do is just make me mad or get me upset, and then, I was completely off my game. And now I've completely just allowed myself to, succumb to whatever traps that they had, that they're trying to set on me. So this actually kind of helped me in the relationship, like in the most recent relationship with the narcissist, because she did everything she could to try to provoke me and provoke me and provoke me. But I was so in control of myself. Not that I wasn't getting upset at the things that she was doing, but I just wouldn't give her the reaction that she was looking for. You know what I'm saying? So that, because I had a lifestyle of, going through these type of things as a kid, and I learned, I guess, to cope with these things as a kid, it helped me as an adult, even dealing with the situation that I dealt with, that I discussed with you guys on the channel, dealing with the narcissist. So one of the things that I had to realize is that if I didn't get in control of my own self and get in control of my own anger, that it was going to lead me somewhere that I really didn't feel like I deserved to be, didn't want to be, and felt like I was, I ain't gonna say necessarily better than, because it's a lot of people that get caught up in situations and they end up in certain circumstances due to things that happen in their life. So one of the things, like I said, for me, I was always trying to, I guess, suppress my anger, and I would always like hold it internally, and that actually made a lot of stuff worse, because when you are holding stuff in and you don't have any outlet for it, it's like basically a toxic buildup inside of you. So you are living every day and you're just taking in all of this bad energy, and if you don't have an outlet, then you are bound to explode at some point anyway. You know what I'm saying? So and your explosion is going to be like 10 times worse when it does happen. So the good thing is that I played a lot of sports when I was growing up. So I used to use the sports to like, sports was my outlet. Like I would, I could go on the football field or I can go on a basketball court and I could just let it all out there. And then, so I was a very passionate, like emotional player, like, you know what I'm saying? And I played with a lot of intensity. I played with a lot of fire, which helped me. I'll say it was a gift and a curse, let's say that. So, and I'm gonna explain to you guys why I feel like it was a curse in a certain way. So I played with a lot of, a lot of passion, you know what I'm saying? Like I wanted my team to win. I felt like, I was one of the better athletes on the floor, whatever the case may be, or on the field, or whatever it was that I was doing. So I felt like I was gonna do whatever I could to help my team win. But at the same time, I felt like this was my way to release the things that were happening in my own personal life at home. A lot of the things that I couldn't really talk about because, as a kid, your voice gets kind of silenced when you are dealing with a parent that's fighting addiction. It's certain things that you want to say that you can't really say, or it's certain things that you are saying that's just not being heard. So I would, I would ball all of my anger up and all of that kind of stuff, and I would throw it into the sports, and I would like go so hard at it, but I would also, when I was in control of it and when I was able to hone in on it, I played extremely well under those circumstances. But I was also, again, able to be tricked out of my position. Sometimes I ain't gonna say necessarily tricked out of my position, but I would react. I would react in emotional ways to certain things. Like I remember one time, this was like my sophomore year. I had a really good season that year. It was actually a summer league, and I had a really good season. I had a real good season. And this is, my sophomore year going into my junior year. These are like the years that the recruiters are actually starting to come out and they're, coming to your games and things like that. So I had such a good season that, and we made it to the championship. So we got to the championship game, and I was having such a good season that there was a lot of scouts in the gym. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of scouts from a lot of different schools and all of that kind of stuff. And I was playing well. I had an excellent game and all of that kind of stuff. But there was a point in the situation where I kept getting fouled real, you know what I'm saying? It was like I was getting fouled real hard by a particular player, and I felt like it was intentional, you know what I'm saying? And I was quick to defend myself as a child and part of that was because I felt like I had to defend myself at home so much that that's what I knew. Like, so when I got in the streets or when I got, even on the basketball court, I was still reacting in that manner. So as soon as somebody would, try to, or as soon as I felt like somebody was trying to hurt me in any type of way, I would just respond by fighting, you know what I'm saying? I was quick to fight, so one of the things that's one of the things that always came back to bite me throughout my basketball career was I was very coachable. I was very likable to my teammates and all of that kind of stuff, but everybody knew that, oh, well, he plays with a lot of passion and he will fight. He'll at the drop of a dime, he'll, if you foul him too hard, he's gonna jump up, he's gonna fight you. If you, so I just kind of over time started kind of like building a reputation of being like a fighter. Like everybody kind of knew like, well, and on the one hand, like I said, it was a blessing because my teammates trusted me. My teammates knew that I would throw down for them. My teammates knew that, I was one of those ones that was gonna have their back no matter what, like regardless. But on the flip side, it hurt me in my personal life. It hurt me from progressing in the ways that I possibly could have progressed. Because I remember one particular example. in a particular game, the ref had called like he called a real bad call. And when he made the call, I kind of, I kind of like snapped at him or something, and he gave me a tech. And so after he gave me the first tech, instead of me controlling my anger and just holding on to that, I exploded again, and he gave me a tech again, and he threw me out the game. So, anybody that know basketball, if you get 2 techs, you out of the game. So I got 2 techs, and I ended up out of the game. And the good thing is that my team still won, but I put myself and my team into a position where I wasn't there for them because of my anger. You know what I'm saying? Because I let my anger get the best of me, and I wasn't able to be there for my team when they needed me in the last few minutes of the game or whatever. And then not only that, when I walked off the court, I was still so angry that like I said, a lot of this was just dealing with stuff at home that I wasn't in any control of my environment at home. It was so much unpredictability. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was so much like you felt like you were kind of living on the fly because anything could happen at any moment. And so that's kind of how I carried that throughout everything in my life. And I wasn't able to like detach from that type of stuff. So I remember being so upset at what had just happened that I was leaving out of the game, and it was like a big Gatorade bottle right there, and I kicked the Gatorade bottle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel extremely bad about it now, especially being a grown man. But this, like I said, I was, a 15, 16-year-old kid at that time, and I kicked the Gatorade bottle, and Gatorade flew everywhere and all of that kind of stuff. And I remember one of the coaches from my team, he had kind of grabbed me. He was like, now look what you're doing. And I looked up, and all of the scouts that had came to see me, because I was having such a good season, a lot of the scouts from like a lot of the big name schools that were local, they actually were leaving out of the gym. Like, they had seen enough. And it was kind of like, yeah, he's a great player, but he's not in control of his attitude, and he's not in control of his emotions, and that's going to hurt us in the long run. So a lot of schools that I, possibly could have went and played for in the future and all of that kind of stuff. And I don't think that was necessarily the thing that just hurt me in the long run, because that was one particular incident that happened. But at the end of the day, that was just opportunities missed because I wasn't able to control my anger at that time. So that's kind of what leads me into, even like I said, getting, fast forward in life and getting into like narcissistic relationships, things like that. Because I had those experiences, and because I was able to learn from those back then, I was able to control myself in my future. And it's almost like you're still going to be attacked in these areas, but your attack then becomes a test to see if you learned your lesson. So did you learn your lesson of being so quick to anger and being so quick to explode on things, and being so quick to explode on people and things like that? Because you're projecting things, and that's a projection as well. You're projecting things from your home life, and you can't, you haven't been able to like detach from all of that negativity and all of the stuff that's happening in your home life, and you're allowing it to affect other areas of your life, like school, like work, like whatever level that you're on. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I hope this video helps some of you guys understand, like, all of these things are in your bloodline, and some of these things have happened way before you came along. And because you didn't even know that these things were in your bloodline, like I said, a lot of us haven't even done the history on our families, and haven't gone and asked our grandparents questions about how our great grandparents was and how their parents were and things like that. And it's a lot of things, and then a lot of families have a lot of secrets. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of you guys can kind of relate if you you guys can probably relate to finding out some things about your family that it's like, wait a minute, that don't add up. Like this aunt has a different last name. Like why? You know what I'm saying? Like why? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure that y'all done had certain situations like that, especially back in the day when they weren't able to like keep as good of, you know, vital records and statistics and things like that. Like at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of misplaced people out here. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say that. Like I'm pretty sure it's a lot of misplaced people out here. So like I said, I feel like you will always be attacked in the areas where your generational curses lie in your family. So like I said, for one of mine in my family was anger. And I'm pretty sure it's a few others that I have to deal with, you know, in my family, lust and, you know, things like that. And that's another thing that kind of gets you caught up with the narcissist is you know, being lustful and things like that. So, you know, I just wanted to drop this video real quick to get you guys to like open your eyes and realize that if you focus on the areas that you're constantly being attacked in, that's where you can find your generational curses. If you look at those areas where like, why am I always being attacked in my finances? Like I'm always continuously being attacked in my finances like continuously. It's like, you know, it could be something that happened in the past that you don't even realize that is a curse against your whole bloodline that is meant for you to break. That's why you're the chosen one. That's why you're the one that, you know, that woke up and like you had the spiritual awakening to realize, and even to be on this channel and to be on channels like this one, where you're getting the information that is going to help you to progress in life and break through those generational curses and get to the other side of this thing. So I hope this video resonates with some of you guys. If you did find value in the video, go ahead and share it and hit the like button, and I will talk to you guys later. I love you so much, and I'll see y'all soon. Love y'all.